I woke up like an hour ago.
Yeah, dude, you picked a great day to just like take a nap and just wake up till all this shit.
I don't even know what to say now. I got everything I ever wanted. Like
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Yo, it's Apache Smash.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency.
when the Delta announcement happened and the Master Collection Volume 1 came out, it was like, I don't see the Steam logo under this. This is really concerning. Surely if they were putting it on PC, they would say. And then, time passed and I wouldn't say I was pessimistic, but it was just like they would say, right, if they were doing it. And
They're being coy.
But by the time I was just like, oh, this probably isn't going to happen. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's coming to PC. What the fuck?
On a Nintendo Direct of all places.
Yeah, that was what was so unexpected. I took a nap this morning during the Direct and was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Pikmin 4, whatever, sure. And then woke up, there's a bunch of Metal Gear shit. I was like, wait, what? So I mean, it was all good news for me. I mean, that's we'll do a check around the room. I'm happy. Is everybody else happy?
I'm super happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied.
So far, I have no complaints.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Immediately I saw people being like, oh, but it doesn't have this and that and this. I'm like, guys, would you shut the fuck up and be happy we got something? This is 6 years later since we've had a Metal Gear game.
Okay. We gotta slow down for a minute.
Hold on, is somebody mad that Snake's Revenge is in there? Because I think that's fucking hilarious.
Oh, no, I think that's great.
We've got to slow down for a second because we all know what's going on. People listening might not know what's going on.
There's been a bunch that has happened, so we'll get talking about the collection a little later on in the episode. That's probably a good idea to get to that eventually and kind of get caught up. Or we can talk about it now and get it out of the way. It's whatever.
Not to turn into the news podcast, but holy crap, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, let's just hit this. Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds premiered at the Tribeca Festival. That's, more or less the documentary on him and his new studio and everything.
Which I haven't seen much about, really, except for people being like, yeah, this is pretty pretentious and pretty, a lot of celebrities saying nice things. But
I hate to say that.
If we're going to call things as they are, I don't see that being a problem.
Well, here's what I've heard. I've heard that it's very light on details regarding the actual creative process.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly just a lot of celebrities praising him.
It's sort of like those documentaries that are just like pictures and confessionals, which I cannot stand, but sometimes it's a necessary evil, but it doesn't sound like this is one of the situations.
Yeah, I want to see a real life sort of documentary on his day-to-day workflow. That would be interesting to me to see what he actually does.
Yeah, and someone had mentioned too, just his inspirations and how he grew up as a child of the World War II era and all these things. But instead, they're just Kojima, he's quite the auteur. You got to give it to him.
Yeah, we know that.
He knows a guy, and those guys get things done really well.
I want to see what he's actually doing during the day. I don't mean that in a cynical way, like I'm doubting what he's doing. No, I'm actually really curious. Everyone who's ever worked with him, who has talked about the experience, says that he is a crazy hard worker. He's super disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
He's hands-on with everything. But you rarely see that. You would see it in older materials, but now with the new studio, it's like he's this mythical figure that has transcended being a human game developer and is now something else. And no, I want to see the human again.
Yeah, it does seem like they're trying to legitimize him in the Hollywood world a bit, and they're saying hey, there's this guy over here. And it seems like they're trying to get more eyes on him right now to just expand to do other shit. He wants to do the movies. He wants to. I mean, what? Shit, that was another thing that was announced. There's the DS Death Stranding movie that's going on, and he's involved in all the aspects except directing. So,
man, I have a really good suggestion for who should play Sam.
Well, yeah, but him taking all that credit and then saying, but I didn't direct it. To me, that reeks of hey, if it's great, you know who was behind it. If it sucks, I did not direct that though, so you cannot put that on me.
Yeah, he will not.
God damn it.
Yeah. That was a little interesting.
This is portable ops all over. Like
I was about to say, this is really aligning with those, like, ironically not directed by Kojima, produced by Kojima, like the whole credits meme.
Yeah.
Would he would definitely put a Hideo Kojima film on it, wouldn't he?
Sure.
He absolutely would slap that on there.
Right where the director slot normally goes.
Yeah. I am curious if, if and when, I mean, I don't think there's an if about it. That documentary is going to come out at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering when that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I wish he would stop courting Hollywood so much. I mean, those guys suck. Hollywood blows. Just like Kojima's better than Hollywood. He doesn't need them.
Yeah.
I get that he like grew up idolizing, actors and directors and sort of romanticizing Hollywood and it's sort of the lifeblood of a lot of his work, but modern Hollywood really just blows. I wish he'd get away from it.
It's like he's trying to capture this certain thing that is long gone. It's like he wants old Hollywood, and he's like,
it's very corporate. I mean, we'll see what he's doing. He's apparently got 3 games in development currently. We know one of them's Death Stranding 2. Another one is probably Overload. And then a third one, who knows? I know he also said he wants to do a game that's in space.
But somebody take him to space.
Yeah.
Someone please foot that bill to space, yes.
How about letting us go to the moon in Death Stranding, please?
Well, he wants to do his research.
As long as he's not trying to go to the Titanic.
Yeah, God, whoa. That's timely. Oh my gosh. You gotta, that's how you cope with these things. You gotta joke about them. It's good for the soul.
Just like you got to joke about, just Super Mario RPG getting a remake.
Oh God.
It's like,
Okay.
just to get through the pain.
Today was out to get me, man.
Once again, I feel like we're gonna have this whole like the last episode all over again, where I'm just like, it's a trailer, doesn't tell me much. Art direction's kind of neat. Fingers is excited, and then Nitroid
has some words to say and some questions.
When do I not? Though
Yeah.
I'm never going to be satisfied with this stuff.
Well, I think that's what makes this a great show, guys. I mean, we've all got our different things to contribute here.
HD render of Fat Yoshi.
There you go. That is pretty great, though. We finally got that. Did they ever find that? Apache, I think you're referencing something very old, like old internet. There was this search for the source of a Fat Yoshi graphic. Do you remember this?
Yeah. I just know the picture getting posted all the time. Like I just that's all I remember is like there was like this is like an ancient internet meme.
Yeah.
But Fat Yoshi was just everywhere.
And I guess we get that now. Yeah, that's old internet. Okay, look. This is a little different than MGS3 for me because look, I like MGS3 a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this whole show if I didn't like Metal Gear games, obviously. But in my list of like my top 5 favorite games of all time, it's not in there. I'm sorry, Apache. I know that hurts. I think it's brilliant, but
what?
I know he's like,
I'm leaving the show. Just kidding.
It's gonna be all right, I promise. But Super Mario RPG is like that game is just amazing to me in so many ways because it's snappy, it's smart, it's clever, it's fun, it's just got so much character and spirit and charm and just everything about it is just great to me in so many ways. It's very, very smart in a way that a lot of games aren't. It's also very self-aware. Like you look at Mario RPG and if you're not familiar with it, it just seems like this fun sort of Mario adventure, but then you play it and it's got this little undercurrent of smartass to it,
Yeah.
It gives me like early 90s smartass, very particular. It's in a time capsule.
Exactly. I mean, they're making like Bruce Lee jokes, right?
Now you're making me worried about like this remake now because it's like it really is this product of its time. It's like if somebody remade it in living color.
I think a sequel would have been less jarring,
I mean, I'll say like, just on art style alone, I think as an updated look, I think they still kept some of that, we love that word chicken nugget, form. I think they've kind of got that deformed look down. I think it looks pretty good. If you look at some of the original models, like especially like Bowser and stuff, it's like, all right, that's looking a little off actually. Like, I think they've taken those chicken nugget proportions and kind of, give them that upscale. I don't think they look bad. That's, I think they look like modern Nintendo.
I think that's why I hate how it looks, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I know I'm going to hard disagree with you here, but
no, that's cool. That's fine. I think it looks cute. Little guys.
I think this is what happens when you try to square a circle. You try to have it both ways.
Yeah, that's like you want your pixel art and you're like
no.
Go ahead.
No, okay. So the way they made that game back in the day is kind of interesting because they would do 3D. It's sort of similar to what they did with Donkey Kong Country, where they would make 3D models and then rasterize them at different positions and then animate them as individual frames, right? And so when you look at those weird 3D models for Mario RPG, the old ones, those were used to create the sprites, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you shrink that down and you rasterize it and you make it, less detailed, it's not going to resemble it in the same way. And then they can, sort of touch it up and do what they need to. So it looks different than those CG renders. And what they've done here with the remake is it's like they took their current Mario designs, just the normal ones that they use in everything from Odyssey to Mario Kart to whatever. They took that and they just squished the characters. That's what it looks like to me.
Into little chicken nuggets, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks terrible to me. It's got no charm.
That's subjective. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think they look terrible. Even the new game that's coming out too. What is it? Mario Wonder or whatever. Like yeah.
That's a weird one, man. It looks like it'll be fun though.
Like that looks fun as shit. They're going back to the old school Mario design, I think. Like not what it is now with that one.
I don't think it necessarily looks terrible, but I would have appreciated sort of like a new interpretation of it. I also heard they're bringing the composer back.
Yeah, Yoko Shimomura. She is incredible. She did the soundtrack for not all of it, but a good chunk of it for Final Fantasy 15, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think she did Parasite Eve, I want to say. I might be wrong about that. I know she did Street Fighter 2, and I mean, she is she does not get enough praise. She's one of the most amazing game composers.
Is it bad that I kind of know about her? Not.
You're going to say what I'm going to say. You're literally going to say what I'm going to say.
Is it bad that I know who you're talking about now because of the Tommy Talrico video?
I was going to say that as well.
Oh no, we're back here again.
Here's your bingo card.
But no, I love her music.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was uncredited for Street Fighter, right? They had to post under pseudonyms.
Yeah. I think that they're didn't they all post under pseudonyms though? Like every single composer on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I know she did music for she did a lot of music for Kingdom Hearts. I think Final Fantasy 15 was like her first like big Final Fantasy game, though I guess, Kingdom Hearts is practically one. But she's also done music for the Mario and Luigi series. Which is sort of the successor series. So
we'll be getting new arrangements of the old music by her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be phenomenal. She's incredible.
Sign me the fuck up. Yeah, like great. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's the problem here besides just character design.
It looks so stale and refined and corporatized and just...
Okay, but we're talking about a 1996 game with like a 2023. Like,
look, man, I just wanted them to re-release the damn thing on the SNES app. You know
what?
Like, they're not even doing that.
I was gonna hit you with as long as they still have it. Wait a second, no, they don't have it on Nintendo Switch Online. They had it on the Virtual Console, and then let's just see what the cost of a cartridge.
You don't want to know.
Is.
You don't want to know.
Oh yeah, fuck trying to buy an actual cartridge of it. Yeah, I mean, I think we all are ignoring the go ahead and emulate it. Like,
yeah, Mario RPG also does not. Mario RPG is weird in that it's got a lot of really precise timing, and I'm not just talking about the timed hits stuff.
Yeah.
But also with like events in like cutscene sort of things, like it's all very precisely timed. A lot of it for comedic value. It's got like, I love that you like said it had like a 90s sort of bent to it because it really did. It was sort of like early, late 90s and like early, late. That didn't make any sense.
It's like snarky. Yeah.
It's got like 90s anime humor to it,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that snappy animation where, like I'll give you an example. Like in some animes, if a character said something crazy, another character would just like fall over, but it wouldn't be like a slow thing. And they would just like from one frame they're up. Like one frame, blam, just down on the floor. And that sort of like slapstick, instant, snappy humor is all through the game. And if you watch the trailer for this, it's all very floaty and soft and charming, and there's like no edge to it. And I know that seems weird to say for what is essentially a kid's game, but that's part of what gave it that flavor, was that snappiness. And you know, Days, I think you're right. I think they're going to probably adjust the script a bit. Like, they're not going to make remarks like, "Who the heck do you think you are, Bruce Lee?" Like, they're not going to say that. They're going to change it. But that early script is part of what gave it its charm.
You just made me imagine a world where, like, they remade Gex. I don't know why.
Oh,
they
Lord.
remade Gex, but they put in none of his stupid references.
It would be all new references, though, wouldn't it?
I was about to say, they would just replace it with new stuff, yeah.
Maybe he'd make jokes about TikTokers that I'm just like, I don't know this shit, man.
Yeah, he'd be like talking about Marvel movies and shit.
I feel like it could be done really well, but it could also be like the second Wreck-It Ralph film. It could go either way.
When you try to like rely on just references and stuff like that, that can be real. It gets dated super quick, so that's the thing.
It's
so
tough.
They'd be like, "Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?" And it's just like saying that. Everyone's like, "Oh." By the time the game comes out,
well, that just happened.
Shout out to Wes for. I just wanted to bring up Gex for some reason. I don't know why, but
yeah, if Wes is listening, she's having a good time.
There is God, I saw a picture on Twitter. There's a whiteboard that somebody made of like things in the 2000s that were used in comedies that you just absolutely shouldn't add to a script now. And it was full of those little quirky sayings like...
He's right behind me, isn't he? That type shit.
Stuff. Yeah. You just see that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's...
like that would be a modern Gex,
mm-hmm.
I worry. Like, I don't know who could write a game that's actual. I'm trying to think, like, when was the last time I played a game that had a really funny script? And I'm coming up blank.
See, like, I remember, like, Borderlands 2 had some funny stuff, but, like, by the time we got to, like, Borderlands 3, it was, like, shut the fuck up. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Borderlands 1 was, like, pretty good, and then 2 had some funny stuff, started to get annoying, and then 3 was, like, I can't stand this game. I'm turning dialogue down in the volume section. Like, it got way annoying.
That didn't click for me at all.
I hate to bring it up again, but talk about funny scripts. Fucking, how could they have a facility down here without the authorities knowing? Fucking RE2R, man, is hilarious.
RE2 is like unintentionally hilarious because Leon is just so much of an innocent, and it's, oh my gosh, yeah.
A real scientist wouldn't be down here.
I went to see the SpongeBob stage play. It's a musical. I went to see that recently. There was an awkward moment where I was like talking to some people who were there. I was like, "Damn, this is kind of long," and they were like, "Yeah, it's kind of long for a kids thing." And I was like, "Damn, is this for kids?" But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Anyway, the spoilers for the SpongeBob musical. There's a bit where SpongeBob looks at the crowd and he's like, "The government would lie to us," and it's like really. You know, it reminded me of Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2.
I can't believe you just spoiled the SpongeBob play.
Yeah, dude, I had tickets.
You
canceled.
monster.
It's surprisingly anti-government, anti-religion for a children's
really
musical.
That's really funny. I kind of want to see it now.
Surprisingly pro-environment. I enjoyed it.
I still like the theory that they're all the result of a nuclear test at Bikini Atoll.
Oh, yeah.
After you said that the other day, I read into that, and there is a lot of like,
yeah, it aligns a little too well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there is so much written on the subject. Like, I couldn't believe how much stuff was written on the subject.
I mean, they were clever.
Big Boss was just like chilling like a mile away, just like kind of just taking it all in, you know? It's
I legitimately want to get that drawing of Pearl in the boss's outfit signed by Lori Allen at MGSCon.
I was gonna say she was simultaneously on the beach while also being Mr. Krabs' daughter.
It all connects too much. It makes too much
Mr.
sense.
Krabs one of the philosophers? Is that what we're saying here?
Hold on.
He's got all that money from somewhere.
That's where he got it. It's the legacy. That's what founded the Krusty Krab.
That's our thumbnail.
Oh my god, there you go.
Have fun this weekend.
Is it rude if I ask Laurie Allen to say, Snake, I have defected to the ballers?
No, I need to hear that.
Nope.
No.
Please.
Speaking of voice actors and Laurie Allen, how about all of those announcements for MGS Con?
Yeah, we've got a ton of new announcements. We actually had a cancellation too as well, which definitely sucked to hear. Paul Lighting's not going to be there, but we got Cam Clark, we got Christopher Randolph.
We've got Doug Stone with the whole like announcement video.
Oh yeah, Doug Stone. Let's talk about that for a quick second.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I'll come back to what I was going to say before. But
That
yeah,
was
this
really
is
cool.
way cool.
So I actually got hit up by Amanda, and she was telling me that Doug Stone was going to be part of the con, and she wanted to make a promo video of it.
For everybody at home, Doug Stone is the voice actor for Psycho Mantis. Yeah.
She sent me over like raw voice recordings that he had recorded, in the Psycho Mantis voice, and I just gotta say that's really cool to just sit there with those on your hard drive and be like, all right, that's kind of cool. I'm sitting here editing that.
I got to help.
Yeah. And so we got to make him sound more like Psycho Mantis. Of course, his normal speaking voice doesn't sound like that, but
this conversation is over.
After doing a couple of different iterations, I kind of showed the group here, and then Nitro was like, what if you added this one effect too? And I was like, yeah, I'll throw that in too. So that's, the whole thing kind of came together.
This conversation is over.
And then we had Parametric Avocado. We had our, V over here just killing it with the animation.
Those animations are just nuts.
Yeah.
With Snake and the like getting dragged across with the box.
That was so funny.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I swear, like I thought my meme game was good, but holy crap.
Like even when he says like
memes, jeans, and snakes. A Metal Gear fan convention.
Like memes, it cuts to like the no, that is not Solid Snake angle. The jeans that like they're pointing at the fucking jeans that Otacon's wearing.
I know.
Like there's so many like hidden things in V's videos that you really gotta like pay attention.
It's just phenomenal. But that is a great promo for the con. And I think a lot of people were able to see it too. Like that got some attention.
Oh yeah, that took off. Yeah.
And now less than 30 days from this recording.
Oh man.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I know it's getting real.
Wow, I should book a flight.
Yeah.
I am excited that Cam Clark's going to be there. I got to dig out my old VHS copy of Akira, get him to sign it.
Dude, Leonardo himself will be there.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. Yeah, I'm going to bring some turtle stuff for sure.
Is it weird that you and I are both like, yeah, Liquid Snake, that's fine, but, and then it's like the other stuff he's been
Leonardo, yeah, totally.
And Kaneda. He was Kaneda, wasn't he?
I believe
Yeah.
so,
Original English dub, yeah.
Yeah, which is fucking mental. It's honestly fucking mental.
I'm gonna get him to sign my Christmas album.
Nice.
I just realized now that I have really smart friends, aka you guys. Could you guys explain to me what the fuck happens in that Akira film? Because I've watched it so many times and I haven't got a clue what's going on.
Drugs are bad. Pharmaceuticals are bad. I think that's what the message of that movie was. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I remember watching it. I was probably like 10 when I first saw it on like a VHS copy, and how I was blown away by how good it is, by like how good it looks. And I thought, wow, I can't wait to be older so I can understand this, and it just never happened.
Do you want the short version?
Yeah.
And the manga goes for quite a ways after the movie ends. The movie is like a snippet of the manga, but I'll give you the summary of the manga. Basically, there was this young boy named Akira who had crazy psychic abilities, right? And there was, this government organization was sort of doing experiments and trying to understand how it worked. And, eventually he passed away and they sort of kept his remains underground, but his powers still sort of remained around, right? And then Tetsuo was, the jerk kid that was part of Kaneda's gang. And when he ended up in a hospital, it was discovered that he had similar psychic abilities. Unlike Akira, though, he didn't really have control over them. And so as they were trying to sort of bring them out, they started to get more and more wild and weird stuff started to happen. And he started to lose control of these powers and everything started to go crazy until eventually he more or less just blows up Tokyo. But at the end, Akira, despite having passed away, his spirit is still sort of manifest, and he reappears and sort of extends a hand to Tetsuo, and they sort of agree to remake the world better, since it sort of got blown up. And it's funny because like the setting of the movie Neo Tokyo is already after it's been destroyed, so it got destroyed. Yeah, so
I've read through the manga, and there is that one shot of that crater in the very beginning of it where it's like, holy shit! Like that's
exactly
that definitely looks like Death Stranding took some inspiration from that with the whole like BT explosion.
Yeah, it's like World War III stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Is basically Psychic Kid. Government trying to control Psychic Kid. Read into that how you will.
And they're giving him like meds and stuff to try to control it or something too. It's been so long, I forget. Yeah.
I think they might even like go into a different dimension or something, but it's been so long since I've seen it or read the manga that I'm having trouble remembering. I'm sure somebody will correct me, but that's sort of the gist of it.
You never forget how something made you feel, and
exactly.
I remember how that film made me feel, and it was special.
I was like, cartoons can do this? What?
Yeah.
It's got boobs in it. Whoa! Like that blew my mind.
I think a lot of directors felt that way, and that's why we see that bike shot everywhere.
Yep. Yeah. And if they remake it, I swear to God, I can't handle any more remakes, guys. I can't do it. They remade Mario RPG. They're remaking Star Ocean 2. I can't do it.
Going back to Mario RPG really quick, and then we'll get off of that. But like, I did see some of the comparison gameplay, and I see what you're saying is where it's kind of like smooth and floaty, like a little bit, and it doesn't have that choppiness to it.
Which it's weird because the new Mario Brothers 2D game is the first 3D the first 2D but 3D, like 2.5D, whatever you want to call it. It's the first game in that style that they've made that doesn't have what I've been referring to as floaty bullshit in it.
Yeah.
It actually seems like they got the physics right, which is weird.
When we saw the latest like Sonic thing, that's how I was like, man, this looks like a lot more of that floaty shit. Like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Go back and look at
it. Yeah.
Somebody did a comparison of the 2D physics with the new Sonic game. Was it called Superstar? Superstar, something like that. And it's almost 1-to-1. So like they got that right too. And I went back and watched that today because the new Mario had me thinking about it. I was like, wow, they're both, Sega and Nintendo are basically doing the same thing here. And like, yeah, it looks better than they've done in the past. It's definitely snappier. I think it's kind of funny that the new Mario side scroller is snappier than the Mario RPG remake, but
yeah,
that's kind of how it works.
Like when I played the Link's Awakening remake though, like I felt like that was, it was fine. Like it did a pretty good job of like emulating it, and so that's kind of what I feel with this one. It looks like it's like, okay, they're gonna do that to this. Like it should be all right.
Link's Awakening went in a really different direction than the original too, so it sort of wasn't as jarring, but this is like trying to emulate and update it, and it just seems like a downgrade in some ways to me, so it's like...
So far, that's really my only complaint, is that they didn't, and people would probably be mad if they did, but it didn't seem like there was any, like, adjustment or, reason... Like, wait, we want to kind of interpret it like this, but I don't, like, Nintendo's the last people I expect to do that, so.
Yeah, I mean, I almost would have rather them kept the visual style in line with, like, modern Mario stuff. Like, I think that would have made it a little less jarring instead of, like, squishing everybody, weirdly enough.
I don't know, man. Like, that's... I'm never fucking happy with anything. That's like I think with this one they did kind of do that. Like they're respecting the old version of it while modernizing it.
Respect it. You can port it.
They're giving it a little bit of squish. Like they're not changing it so much and if they would have taken it a whole different route, then everybody would have been like, oh, this looks completely different. I don't know. I think it looks fine.
I think like with all these remakes, the best thing that comes out of them is like there just becomes such a new wave of consciousness for the original.
Yeah.
And I think that will happen here as well.
I hope so.
I never played the original, but you saying that it's one of your favorite games of all time makes me want to play it.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Dude, it's so good.
I've got a lot of love for Super Mario RPG as well. And that's like, we're both coming from like, 10 out of 10 RPG, one of my favorites. Love the gameplay, love the RPG, like the combat system of it all, like the exploration, the humor, the quirkiness of it.
Fun.
I love it, dude. That version's gonna be right there. And so, like, for a remake, I'm like,
It's not though. It's
Yeah, I was about to
not.
say it is if you've got like $500, right?
if you own a goddamn computer or a
Yeah, I know,
smartphone, you
I
can
know.
fucking play it, guys. Like,
Yeah, but that's what we mean.
Yeah, but it's like breaking news. All N64 games are free if you have an internet connection.
yeah, I mean, like, we're arguing like this isn't available to really get. And we're all like, guys, smoking's illegal. You know that, right? Like,
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn
Oh
it.
yeah, you gotta call it a water pipe. You can't. It's for tobacco, everybody.
Yeah, I mean
but-
that's what the real argument here is. Like everyone's like, but technically legally, it's well. Then who the fuck is really sitting there going like, shit, guys, I can't play it. I'm not going to emulate it. I'll get in trouble. Like, are we butters out here? Like, what the fuck?
That was a fantastic Butters, by
That
the way.
that was actually spot on.
Yeah, that was like really good Butters.
You nailed it.
But put it this way, Apache. There's a reason why these guys went ape shit for Gino being in Smash.
Yep, you're gonna learn.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
I think Gino looks great. I'll say that.
Yeah, I did appreciate that we finally got, like, not finally, but like I feel like Gino's face was made clear to me, which something I didn't realize that I wanted.
Yeah, and someone else, they zoomed in on one of the pixel arts and like one of the battles, and it was like you couldn't see what the fuck this was before, but it actually is a Samus figure and like all these other things like compiled. It was like a Princess Peach sprite, and she was like really shrunken down.
I knew what those were.
But now we'll be able to be like, oh, well, that's what that was. Shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I get that the original is a masterpiece, and to mess with that at all is an insult to it. But like, we're gonna get a modern coat and paint. There, I think. Sure, it'll be different, but I think it'll be good as well. Like those aren't mutually exclusive. Like, yeah, it's different, so therefore it sucks. It's like you saying they've done a remake, therefore it's bad.
I miss the snappiness though. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. The snappiness is going to be there.
the attack, like all the old attacks had, like, you know how people talk about crunch in games where you really feel it when a hit lands.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mario
Like,
RPG's
wow.
got a ridiculous amount of crunch to it, and the footage in this had like none.
That is a thing with modern games. Yeah, like that feedback of when you make contact with someone is super important.
And
especially
like,
if a first-person shooter doesn't have that, it's like, oh no, like that's like the worst thing. Yeah.
Apache, I gotta ask you this: as somebody who's big into Resident Evil 2 remake, I mean, does it? I know what you just said about this new awareness for the original, but like with Resident Evil 2, there is no legal way to play the original RE2 now, as far as I know. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, there's no like official way to buy a port of the original, but I mean, you can just type in Resident Evil 2 PC downloading on Google, and like it's one of the first links on the page to get the PC version.
Then why complain about ports at all? I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, like with ports, when we went on and on about the Metal Gear ports, is because there was no like actual PC version of MGS3, and now there is, and the whole time that was happening.
That's wild, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fucking great.
So we're gonna get to that. Like,
Yeah.
I do just want to say before we get off the Mario stuff, when it comes to Nintendo, they are a company that I don't want to make ports because they always fuck them up.
They do.
They cannot leave well enough alone. They always mess stuff up with ports. But re-releases, and I mean it's probably a weird one to mention, but the Super Mario Brothers film felt really respectful to what came before it.
Yeah.
And I think that's it bodes well for how they feel about their legacy content, in my opinion. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by this game. That's my prediction.
I mean, I'm gonna play it. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah.
I'll play it. Can I make a prediction though before we move on?
Go ahead.
I want to predict a controversy that I think will come out of this, and I can see it coming a mile away. They, the character Valentina. Do you remember her?
Drawing a blank right now.
She's the wannabe queen of.
Oh
of
yeah.
the,
I see her.
Yeah. Let's say they very obviously toned her down in the remake.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet there's going to be people complaining about that online?
Valentina's got her boobs tucked away. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
that'll happen.
They're gonna call it the end of Western civilization.
They are. Well,
Nintendo has fallen.
I don't know why they did this, but if you play the original and you hit her in the battle, she does a little shake, and it's very, very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And almost gratuitous. And I'm wondering, like, they very clearly got rid of it.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for people to complain about it.
God.
Like, as a kid, you see that and you're like, what? So, hey, how about that Metal Gear Solid collection?
I'm excited.
I don't believe it. I can't believe how good it is.
I think it's a hoax.
I feel like I don't even want to make the minor complaints and things that I hope for with it, because have you seen like the strategy guide stuff that's coming with it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The screenplay book / master book is coming with
the scripts for all the radio conversations.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting fucking Snake's Revenge. We're getting the NES version of Metal Gear, plus the Famicom version of Metal Gear, which that's cool. I don't think there was a Famicom for Snake's Revenge. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There was not.
That's bonus shit for me. Like, I'm saying, for them to include the NES stuff and it being on the Direct, that made sense. But like, that's I mean, talk about, preservation stuff. That's good right there. That's to have that included, because we were basically just expecting the MSX games, plus 1, 2, 3. But to have the NES games and the digital graphic novels and all this other stuff, it's like, all right, they might have taken some notes from Digital Eclipse. I mean,
that's what I was gonna say. Ask, is this what y'all wanted, right? This is what y'all were asking for a few episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like we weren't even asking for it. We were more like, God, imagine if Konami actually did stuff like this and really, really cared about it. Like that Digital Eclipse episode, we were just like, oh, imagine an alternate reality where Konami put this much effort into ports and stuff, and now they actually are. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it.
And that's what I'm saying. Let's give credit where it's due. I mean, like, this is a pretty good fucking start. And for people to be like, oh, but it doesn't have fucking Snakes versus Monkey. I'm like, how many times have you played the Snake versus Monkey, man? Like, you really haven't played it that much, and it doesn't matter to you. But you're just picking on something that's missing because that makes you feel good to be negative about it. Like, God damn it. That's my kind of point. At this point, I'm at that point because everybody's been so negative about it that, like, anytime like a good news pops up, everybody's like, yeah, but it looks like shit. And I'm just like, like, that's so draining to me to be surrounded by that all the time.
Number one, it's the HD collection version. Therefore, the assets of Snake versus Monkey exist in the files. So if you use the dev save on MGS3 HD collection, you can get like the monkey mask. You can play all the sounds from Snake versus Monkey. So modders, wink wink. It's a PC version. Who knows what will happen?
Oh my gosh, I've got like a million things I want to talk about. I don't even know where to start with this thing because there are so many questions I have. It's just, where do I begin? Let's start with where I was complaining in the last episode about this with the supposed cuts, which we were all assuming was going to be historical footage, but we weren't sure. It could be anything, right? I think it's I've seen people report that they cut the historical footage, which they're just presuming that's the case. They don't, nobody knows for sure what that comment was about. It could mean anything.
Wasn't there a picture of one of the cutout cutscenes in the promo for the new shit?
Yeah, so again, we don't even know that they've been cut out. All we know is that the license needed to be renewed. They may have just simply renewed it, and
I was about to say they probably just paid it for another 10 years, and we'll be back in the same scenario 10 years from now, and be like,
right, which means it'll start from release day.
Yeah,
that's when those license. If we presume they have the same license, it'll start from the day of release and go for 10 years. But yeah, there are. In the what do they call it? The digital master book, which is like a guidebook with hints and story context and things like that, that they've included with each one. They have screenshots of the footage, and they make a point of saying like it's ties into real world history, which suggests that they've got the footage, which is awesome. That's great. I still want to know what it is they cut, but if they've got that back. And there's no problem there, fantastic.
I know what they might have cut.
I wonder if it's Calorie Mates, honestly.
It's,
I
mean, that is a good shout.
If what they cut is the Calorie Mate, I will say that it's not the first time they've had to do a brand swap like that. In Peace Walker, The Japanese version was the one that had like Axe body spray and Doritos and Mountain Dew, but in the US version it was like, generic soda and generic cologne and generic tortilla chips and things like that. So it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, even Death Stranding. Monster.
Yeah. And for me personally, zero fucks given on that. Like, that's like, replace your corporate product placement that you got ad sales with generic shit to not keep paying them. Like, fuck them. Like, I didn't really need that. Like, oh, Big Boss invented Doritos. Like, hell yeah, canon. Like, I don't know.
That would have been funny though.
Sure, but like,
I'm the same. Fingers.
We don't have. I guess the difference is we don't have a connection to that.
Yeah,
because we didn't get it.
Yeah,
and I think like having that sort of corporate friction, I think that's a lot more understandable than we just don't give a shit.
Yeah. And that's, every time they're trying to add in like real world stuff, I'm like, well, great, y'all got this license for how long? But then y'all are gonna have to re-sign a deal 10 years later down, like future proof yourself, come up with something original, and then fucking you don't gotta pay anybody. But like, y'all want Coca-Cola in your shit so bad, or PepsiCo so bad, like, I don't know. Like, that's really gonna be pushing the sales later. I don't know.
Yeah, and honestly, it's less interesting than when, movies or games or whatever make up their own weird brands.
Yeah.
For in-universe stuff. Like, I always appreciate that if they put effort into creating it.
Yeah, it's
like,
funny normally. Like, they gotta, like, go, like, just barely around the copyright border and be like, just, it's called Pepsi. It's like, oh, this one's called Peepsy. Like, okay, there you go.
Dude, there's a soda in MGS4 called Narc.
It's my favorite part of GTA.
Yeah. I mean, so that's another thing where it's like, if they're gonna change it and they make little small differences like that, I'm all good. That's fine. We'll go back to, you said last episode, like, what if they removed Way to Fall? That's fine. That song sucks.
I don't care.
Me and Apache will fight you on that one.
Get rid of it. It's so bad. It's the worst credits music.
We got rid of it and we replaced it with Space Oddity.
Hell yeah.
They get some Creedence Clearwater Revival in there, and just Fortunate Son like coming in.
Well, no, they were gonna use Space Oddity, but it was too expensive.
That's the point. Music's fucking expensive. Quit using lame licensed music in your shit. Like,
no, right. Think about Silent Hill, like Promise Reprise. That is the best music ever, right? Forget some fucking licensed chart music song. Just make something as good as that. It's a fucking piano, man, and it's so good.
Off-brand shit is my favorite part of GTA.
Right? It's so much fun because it's like an excuse for the developers to get really creative and funny sometimes. And so it just adds extra character to the world. I love it when they do that stuff.
That's kind of that's what I was saying last episode, where it was like, where we talk about like, what if they replace the movies in Metal Gear Solid instead of talking about like James Bond?
Yeah,
like, cool, like make up some shit. Let's see what comedy things they've got under their belt, like that they can do, and like let's see what they can come up with.
Yeah, when it's done initially, sure, but when you're replacing something that was already there, it's very different. Especially with how closely tied it was to the time period.
Well, that's what we're talking about. The Calorie Mate was there, and now it's going to be Calorie Helper.
I think there's a little bit of nuance there, because there's not as much charm in the Calorie Mate as there is, Major Zero freaking out over James Bond.
I'll give you that.
Okay, so it's product placement versus like media product placement.
Yeah, when is product placement justified?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just a movie, so it's just product placement of the movie. So that's
is it though?
But the movie is more so. I feel like James Bond is there not just as like a product placement, but it also is there to engage that conversation about like
it represents a lot more. Yeah.
Major Zero's like nationalism.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I'm saying. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm not gonna argue against that. But if they're gonna replace some products that are product placement, like the Monster and Death Stranding, like get it the hell out of here. That's kind of jarring, actually, when I see Monster Energy in there. To me, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a weird tie-in. Like I didn't.
To me, it kind of like breaks immersion when I'm like, wait, what? They got Doritos. Like, hold on.
Right, it's like Taco Bell in Demolition Man. Like, I guess Monster won the energy drink wars. Like, what are you saying here?
Now that, I feel like that is an exception, and that you need to have actual brands just because of how audacious and ridiculous it is.
It was hilarious. I think it's funny that they basically just dubbed it over with Pizza Hut in like, it was like, what is it, the European version of the movie?
I didn't know that.
Or they couldn't say Taco Bell, or they just said Pizza Hut?
If you go and watch it, because
they don't have Taco Bell over there.
They didn't even film different scenes. They just had Stallone like and yeah, there's like I like a slice of pizza as much as the next guy. Like they dub it over, and even though he's saying the Taco Bell stuff, like you can read his mouth, they dubbed it over. They pan up to the restaurant, and it shows a superimposed Pizza Hut logo over the Taco Bell sign.
Oh, they did.
But when they get inside, and they changed the loudspeaker and everything. And then when they get inside and they hand him that weird triangle looking thing, you don't really question it because it sort of works either way because it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a weird triangle thing.
I just wanted to go back to what Dave said about Grand Theft Auto because I think I just want to mention when Grand Theft Auto makes something up for product placement, like Cluck in Bell in San Andreas, you like in Americans playing that game will see that place as a certain company or a certain fast food restaurant. But in the UK, we would see it as something different.
It's the KFC Taco Bell combo restaurant, which is kind of another layer to it over here. We actually have one where they do serve the KFC chicken and the Taco Bell tacos, and
they do. I am curious what they are doing with this collection. I don't think it's as simple as they're just doing straight ports. I don't think they're doing emulation either.
That's something that I do want to get into. Like, technically, what are these things like running in? This is going to be, I think, your specialty, Nitro. Like, are they wrapped in some front end? Is this emulation?
I'll try to keep it short and not boring.
Yeah,
I'll try my best. I won't waste your time talking about like cell architecture and all that.
60 seconds, go.
60 seconds on the clock. Jesus. I got 2 medallions, so if I get caught, I'm good. Okay, I don't think they're going to be running an emulator for this. All I have is inference based on what they've shown and what they've claimed. If we assume they're telling the truth, here's what I think. Metal Gear 1 and 2 are with this collection, but they're not a part of MGS3. They're included with MGS1, which is very strange.
Yeah, that's odd because every time I've played the MG1 or 2, it's been in that sub-menu in Snake Eater that you had to get to. So that's switching that up and removing that code alone is kind of like, oh, wait a minute, y'all are getting in here? Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
messing with it. Yeah, they're making changes to the menus, which means they're in the nuts and bolts now. So what else are you doing?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to assume that we are not going to get Guy Savage or the skateboarding game. The reason for that is that they're running on different engines. If you ever wondered why those modes always took so long to load, that's why. I don't think we're getting those. We may get Snake vs. Monkey, though. I don't know. Who was it that spotted the soundtrack?
I think it was
listing?
Bad Humans. Yeah, they had like one.
Humans,
they had one track that was from Snake vs. Monkey, which is like, okay, they might still.
There is just one track. It is the track from Snake vs. Monkey.
I think that puts an outside shot at Snake versus Monkey at it's like a 1 in 100 chance.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because
I can be hopeful.
I want to say that they have enough resources to preserve the soundtrack, but not the game. And it's again one of those things where I understand the friction there.
Yeah.
I think it has a better chance than Guy Savage, but it's still kind of for me.
Because I'm looking at the developers. It just shows Konami definitely wasn't involved in Ape Escape itself. So they don't have they don't own the IP, and it's it's all good. It's all under their umbrella. So yeah, that could be some friction there with just IP and stuff. So
I think that it's safe to say I think it's Guy Savage skateboarding. I think that's a hard no. But there may be a chance for Snake versus Monkey, which would be great. I hope they include all those modes.
Can I say something controversial?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Fucking skateboarding sucks. The only good thing about it is the theme song, the skateboarding, the electric guitar version of the Metal.
You're not wrong.
That's so good. Konami, Evolution Skateboarding lost to Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's way better. So much better.
Have you ever played Evolution Skateboarding?
Yeah,
the actual game?
Shit.
It is. It's not
terrible.
It's not good. And the skateboarding mode is very bad, but it was so funny you didn't really care. It did have some really clever ideas though, like the idea of making a skateboarding game have an adventure mode where you fight bosses and stuff. That is pretty funny. But yeah, it was not a good game.
Yeah, I'd say the best things about it are the theme obviously is super good. And the big shell map, turning big shell into a skate arena.
It's
It's
hysterical.
funny. It's like but it's. Do I care if they bring it back? Hell no. No, and
yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And anything from the substance and subsistence versions, like as much extra shit as they added to it. It's like let's not forget that those were like special editions of the game. So for those special edition standards to be applied to like any further re-releases, it's like you're just setting yourself up for a bad time. I think if you want all those things that were included in those special editions here.
In a perfect world, it would have it, but
if we talk about like Snake versus Monkey. If it could happen, damn right I want Snake versus Monkey, because there's no way to play it in 60 FPS. Like there's it's stuck in the 30 FPS. Like right, you can't.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Guy Savage though. Guy Savage is one of those punk game developer things that I love so much. Like we're just gonna make a whole ass different engine for something we might do someday that was based on a prototype for Zone of the Enders 3, and we're going to shove it in as a dream sequence because we can. Like, that is the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
And it is a shame that it's not included, but, like, I've had years to cope with it not being in the HD collection. I wish it was there, but I get why it's not.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing that happened, but it's not really relevant anymore. It's kind of like dated itself.
I guess. I mean,
I can't wait to play a lackluster button masher that's like
I don't know.
I don't know. It played like shit.
I mean, how many games can you say have a dream sequence where you play a whole ass other game?
MGS4.
Okay, fair.
Do you count between loading screens? It's not technically a dream sequence, but Tekken.
I'm trying to remember what you're talking about.
If I recall correctly, you could play Galaga in Tekken.
Could you? That's cool.
Let me see if I can find it.
But yeah, I'm okay with that. I also don't think we're going to get MGO. I mean, I can dream. It would be nice. But part of me is just like, I wonder if Konami is looking at that and being like, we've tried this so many times and it never catches on. Just let the nerds handle it. They're clearly doing better. Just let the Save MGO guys handle it.
So with this collection, could that be hooked into some type of server to play MGO 1? Like I'm saying, like in like extreme... like cases here, could there be some server that was fan run?
I mean, there is an MGO fan server already.
I'm saying with this new collection, with that would be tied to this new collection, would they be able to hook that in at all?
Well, okay, we're talking about something that I don't think there is any of MGO that. I'm trying to think of how to put this. I don't think there's enough of MGO in the HD collection left over to build something out of. I mean, I'm sure...
Yeah, if they're starting from that.
If you had a super genius with enough time, maybe you could come up with something. But I don't think there's going to be like, oh, they just disabled it with a button, and if we hit the right stuff, we can bring it back. And they go like, no, there are some things that are like fundamentally very different about MGO to the standalone game that are yanked out of it. That you would have to remake fairly, from the ground up, I think. My knowledge on this is not very...
Yeah. That's I was just kind of curious. Like,
when we start getting into the real nuts and bolts of this, I don't know too much, but...
So it doesn't seem like they have enough building blocks to make it from that HD code, at least, unless they were to go back to the original code, which we don't think they really have. I don't know.
Okay, so the... I'm going to go off of what I know here, just from conversations with friends and people who know better than me. But you know how the HD collection, not really the HD collection, is more like just MGS2 and 3 HD, had ports on the NVIDIA Shield, right? So those were, according to somebody who understands this way deeper than I do, those were ported and they were native ARM architecture binaries. I mean, they were just full-on ports to that architecture. They're running on ARM processors, right? So, whatever APIs Android had, they ported whatever they needed over to that instead of using like DirectX or whatever. That's probably what they're going to do again here. And the fact that they're yanking stuff out, like Metal Gear 1 and 2, presumably, means that these aren't just ROMs in an emulator or ISOs in an emulator. These are native PC ports, okay? It's hard to tell how much of it's going to be changed. If anybody wants to mod this stuff, they're probably going to have to get into the nuts and bolts and deal with the weird files, same as they are on the other platforms. They use, even if it's ported to other platforms, they still use the sort of the same files to store things, and it can be kind of weird to work with. But those at the very least, 2 and 3, are very likely going to be PC, just straight up PC ports, no emulation. MGS1's a little different. You see those screenshots where they've got the borders on the side of the screen, and like that just screams, ISO running in an emulator for like PS1, right? But here's what's weird about it. If you look at the US version, it says includes VR missions / special missions if you're in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the Japanese version, it says integral. Now, if you don't know about that, integral is sort of like substance, subsistence, but for MGS1, it was a re-release of the first game that had the VR missions 3rd disc, but
and an MP5 with infinite ammo.
Yeah,
on very easy.
Right. It made changes to the original game as well that we never got here. Like, you could unlock Meryl in a sneaking suit. You could have alternate guard routes. You had the easy mode gun. All of this weird stuff that they added into the core game, sort of like what they did with Substance and Subsistence, But we never got that. All they did was take the 3rd disc with the VR missions and re-release it over here standalone as its own product.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the question. What are they doing with Integral to manage that? Because Integral in Japan does not have a Japanese dub. It was released over there. Okay, so short version of the story. Kojima liked the US dub of MGS1 so much that when they did the re-release version, Integral in Japan, it had only the English dub. So essentially, if you get Integral, it's already localized. Most of the menus and subtitles are going to be in Japanese, but you can hear all the voices in English. It's kind of wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems that this version that's coming out in Japan is going to be Integral, but with Japanese voices, which, like MGS3, sort of suggests that they're tinkering with stuff under the hood. If that's the case, this may not be just running in an emulator. This may be a port, like a proper one. Now, I'm making a lot of guesses here.
The Metal Gear Solid PC port
is a mess.
Isn't that just Integral but running on PC and in English?
Yeah, with some sort of.
We really need to get one of those folks on the show, man.
Yeah, I've got the contact info for one of the guys. I just need to reach out and see if I can get him to come on. He's talked about this quite a bit. I mean, no, the PC MGS devs, the people who worked on the port were well aware of how messy it was. They had a lot of difficulty developing it. They didn't get a lot of the tools they needed to do it, but they, the lead developer commented on like how clean the code was for it, how easily understandable it was, and like even though the comments were all in Japanese, they could tell what was going on very easily. Like, it was really well done. But Konami wouldn't provide them with some of the tools they needed, specifically ones related to the audio library. So they weren't able to do audio samples correctly. They weren't able to use the sequenced music. They had to like rip songs from websites and throw them in. Like, it was a nightmare for them. And like, there's a lot of reasons it ended up being kind of a mess. Mainly lack of support from Konami was the big reason. I'm thinking here though. Also to answer your question, no, they're like it's close to Integral, but it's missing some things. Like, there's a developer commentary in Integral where you can call a secret radio frequency and get little commentaries on different aspects of like the game and the development, depending on where you are. There's a lot of them. Again, Bad Humans has been cataloging these.
It's missing Meryl's suit, which I learned the hard way when trying to beat it for both endings, and then DRK comes in my chat. He's like, "What are you doing? Suit's not in that game." Like the middle of the stream.
I think it's missing the radio codec frequencies as well, because there were a couple in that.
I believe it is.
Where they had remixed tracks from MG2. They were pretty cool.
I should stream that again one day, because there's something charming about the jankiness of that game.
There's something I heard the other day, and I didn't know this, and you guys probably all know this, but in Integral, if you hold the MO disc open for 20 seconds, it shows you Meryl's codec number. I didn't know that.
That's hilarious.
No.
Yeah. Jaguar King told me the other day.
You are shitting me.
And I was like, wow, I've never heard that before.
That is fucking hilarious. Because like,
are you kidding me?
No.
And it's only an integral?
That's what, right. So this was after Limeade, after I'd been up for 2 days. So we had a conversation like after it all ended, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And this is from memory of that conversation. So I think it's just integral. Yeah.
Oh my God. I did not know that. That is insane. I'm going to have to check that later.
Because that's awesome, right? Because, right, you know when it says...
Also, I just lost an argument with somebody. Damn.
You know when it says the codecs on the back of the CD case? And, like, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what case?
The
And so,
case.
everyone
There's a
opened
disc.
their inventory and looked at that disc, right? Like, everyone
But it's not
did
a CD
that.
case. Yeah, it's not a CD.
But, like, before you realize that it's on the actual back of this... Yeah. So, like, everyone did that. Yeah, I should probably open the game and actually test this myself before I fucking say it on an episode. But, like, I just...
Yeah, I feel like that would have been caught on to, or at least we would have heard about it. But I guess because it's a Japanese only release, we never would have heard about it. Damn, I gotta check that later. That's crazy.
I kind of want to see if it's on the PC version.
Yeah, we gotta check that.
All right, y'all.
So we could be spreading fake news here, but maybe not.
Blame Jaguar King if it's fake, because he told me.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Jaguar King.
Holy crap. Like, it's rare that I hear something I didn't already know about MGS1. Whoa. If that's true, that's crazy. Oh, man. So yeah, just to sort of finish the thought, if they are tinkering with it, like, putting in Japanese voices into integral for the JP release, or giving us that version, then it might not be emulated. It might be an actual port. Maybe that the fact that they've got the borders on the side might just mean they didn't want to mess with the aspect ratio.
They might fix the codec lag in MGS2. Holy shit!
They might.
That would be
They
crazy.
might. Somebody pointed out earlier, the Steam pages for all 3 games were all up earlier, but then they were taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had to make an edit or something, or they just weren't ready to put them up for. So who knows what they'll change, if anything. But one of the things that was listed on the site on Steam was the option within the games to have multiple audio languages.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
No, that's fucking nuts.
It did look like there was a ton of language options for sure. Yeah.
Which also sort of implies, like, I don't know, maybe it's just you download the Japanese version versus you download the US version or whatever. But if it's not, and if it's just an in-game option, like you're in MGS1 and you can pick the audio, you want to listen to English, you want to listen to Japanese, you want to listen to any of the other language dubs, that would be not only be amazing, but it would explain why they're being weird about the terminology, and it would explain why the games have these inflated file sizes that nobody seems to be able to explain.
I was about to say that audio is going to add up quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
With all that audio per language. Yeah. You're talking, I mean, even at like MP3 compression level, it's like, yeesh, that's a ton.
Exactly. So if that would explain that. So, this is kind of nuts what they're doing. I'm wondering what else they're sticking in there. Like they've got this digital screenplay book, like you mentioned, that's got the dialogue and everything. Yeah, I've got some thoughts about that, but maybe for another time. But and then the NES games, like, what the hell?
That's just cool. Like that's something they totally didn't have to do, and like everybody would have been fine. But just like including those is like, all right, that's maybe that's how they got the direct announcement. But
okay, can I just say this? For anybody listening who has been under the impression that Kojima was still secretly a part of any of this stuff, if you needed any better evidence that he has like nothing to do with this, here it is. They put the NES version in here. The thing, like, he despises that thing.
Yeah. Snake's Revenge being in there is just a total fuck you to Kojima, actually.
Snake's Revenge redemption arc.
Yeah.
Kojima has always spoken fondly about Snake's Revenge. He likes it more than the NES Metal Gear.
What if they would have included Snake's Revenge and not Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake?
That would have been so funny. Oh my God.
That would have been the fucky right there. Yeah.
I'd have been like, yeah, they don't give a shit.
Dude, it's funny that we were all making fun of this just a couple weeks ago, saying like it'd be funny if like Master Collection 2 was like Snake's Revenge or whatever. Like everybody was joking about it, and now it's
on Volume 1, psych.
Yeah, it's like bam, there it is. Like, you're gonna put the Amiga version of Metal Gear in next? Like, come on now.
Now we just need Survive and Metal Gear Touch, and we're all set.
Hell yeah. But then they've also got the digital graphic novels. I'm sure those are going to take up a lot of space. It looks like I bet you, it looks like it's just a video, so it's not going to be like the interactive thing. It's just going to be like the watchable versions that were in MG, like the Legacy collection. And then they've got that digital soundtrack as well. So like, man, there's a lot of stuff in here. And hard telling what else.
Yeah, I'm saying right now because I want you guys to come and turn up. But when it comes out, I'm gonna be hitting go live on my stream and playing Metal Gear Solid 3 until I get like single segment Foxhound, single segment Tuxedo Foxhound, all camos Foxhound, and then like every single difficulty world record. I'm just like absolutely smashing that game as soon as it comes out.
I'm so proud of you.
I always said I would do it if like an actual PC version came out, and like I'm definitely not going back on that. I'm excited to do it. I'm really excited to do it.
They're adding trophies to all the games as well too, aren't they?
Yep.
I hope they make them hard because the trophies in MGS3 can all be done on the lowest difficulty, which I think is a shame.
Meanwhile, if they ever bring over MGS4, the trophies in that are just like ridiculous. Like I hope you got a week to spare.
Well, you confirmed it, right, Nitroid? You confirmed the 100% port in MGS4, right?
If y'all are wondering why I'm so quiet all of a sudden, it's because I installed MGS1 PC, and now I'm checking what Apache said.
You gotta let us know.
Do you need some saves? Because I can get you a save pack for it.
If you want to give me a save pack, that would be fantastic. But I got my MP5 and I'm ready to kill shit.
Okay, so I guess I'll talk about this because I'm sure this is going to be on websites before long because it was already getting picked up by game journalists.
Confirmed news update.
I don't know if it's safe to say confirmed, but it's
confirmed news update.
It's an okay.
Just say it louder.
So here's the thing. I may have accidentally broken some news. Not accidentally, I was looking for it. On the Metal Gear Portal site, which they have overhauled to show off and advertise the Master Collection, they put up a timeline of the canonical Metal Gear Solid games, or Metal Gear games in general. So, this timeline has been around for many years. They've made slight adjustments, but it's mostly remained unchanged, and it's just like got this arrow pointing up towards the top left, and a list of all the games, and they have not changed this in years. Even like down to the positions of the game logos that they've got on the page, and it like shows what year it takes place in, and they just they've kept this on one website or another. And whenever they change the website, they slap it up there, and it's just like a static image.
And Portable Ops has just never been around.
Well, it was. I think if I remember right, it was on there for a while, and then they just kind of quietly removed it. Which it's still gone, but here's the point. On the new Portal website, it's got a list of all of these canonical games. So like Metal Gear 1, 2, Solid 1, Solid 2, Solid 3, Peace Walker, Solid 4, and then Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. And it shows them on a timeline. And for this website, they took the icons or the logos for the games that were in Volume 1 of the Master Collection, and they put a red outline on them and added a plus sign and made them a button that you can click on. And when you click those, it takes you to the Master Collection page for that game. Specifically, the Master Collection for that page. Not like not like some other general game info site. Like, it's for the re-release.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went into the just inspect page, looking at the HTML for it. I wanted to see what the markup was. And
oh my god, I had a save for like right at it. That's so funny. GOG Cloud, that's awesome. All right,
okay,
you said hold it.
Yeah, you got to hold it for 30 seconds, right?
All right,
20 seconds. You said, yeah.
Keep
right,
talking. Keep talking.
Okay. So I looked into the source code, and they have, I call it source code, it's HTML, whatever. They have placeholder buttons for the games that aren't in the collection. So there are placeholder buttons for Peace Walker, MGS4, Ground Zeroes, and the Phantom Pain. And they're just not active, but they're there.
So like you hover over them and it like kind of shows there's something there. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this timeline, this is gonna. I'll try to make sense of it, but like this timeline was always like a static image, like it didn't have any buttons or anything. It was just an image that they put up on their page. They have remade this. They literally like they recreated this image. They took the pictures out, the logos, left the background and the time, and then programmatically added back in those logos in the exact spots, but made sure that they could be used as buttons when needed to.
Yeah.
The only reason you would do that is if you plan to use every one as a button at some point. You would not do it this way if you didn't. You would just leave them as images.
Yeah, lay down that groundwork, yeah.
Yeah, you would leave it as static. But that's not what they did. They put the work in. So that might suggest what Volume 2 might be.
I bet they fucking hate you, dude. I bet they're so mad.
Yeah, but they know they can't. They can't. Yeah, I mean, I know. I love you, Konami. I just want you to be better. I'm doing this for your own good.
You can't trick the old D. Orton.
No, it's dude. They do. Jeez. That's a joke that he's explaining.
Yeah, did that get fixed?
No.
They go. No, Discord support ghosted me when I called him out on it.
That's Nitroid backwards, real quick, because that's what he had to fucking go by.
Yeah, because they don't allow the word nitro in. So short story. Discord did their whole new username thing. Everybody's got unique usernames. Most people aren't getting their old usernames because everybody was squatting on them. I tried to get Nitroid. Lo and behold, Discord does not allow you to use the word nitro in any part of your username, regardless of where it is.
Yeah.
Because it goes against their terms of service.
So RIP Nitroid and RIP Nitro Rad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody, and so I sent them a message saying, hey, I think this is probably a bug. I know you're trying to stop scammers, but this is not the right way to do it. You might want to look at this.
They were like, stop impersonating me. They were confused. They're like, are you my boss?
Yeah, they basically replied and said, your name is breaking user community guidelines, which says that it's either offensive or trying to impersonate someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, and your guidelines don't even, they contradict themselves because you said that this applies to display names as well, and I've had no problem there, and blah, blah, blah. And I tried explaining that, and they just ghosted me.
Yeah, well, oh well.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, all right. So I just made my username Nitroid backwards and gave my avatar an evil mustache, so.
I've been trying this a few times with our conversation. I'm not seeing the frequency. Is there a particular place where it should be?
I thought it was like in the description of the disc, like after,
that's what I was
after 20
assuming,
seconds,
yeah.
But maybe it doesn't work on the PC version. Maybe it's just integral.
I'll load up integral later and try it.
I was going to say, I think I blame the PC more than I don't believe Jaguar, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's the PC's fault. But
yeah.
But it actually, like, I plugged I don't know if this is GOG, they added better support or what's going on, but I plugged in my PlayStation 5 controller, and it's actually, like, it was pretty intuitive. Maybe it saved my configuration, I don't know, but I might actually stream this soon.
Can I tell you a cool thing about it that might be good for your stream?
What?
There's a hidden no-clip mode in the game if you want to take cool photos.
Okay. Yeah, you got to...
You have to create a shortcut and add like a no-clip little flag to the end of it, but then you can hit a hotkey in game and fly around. It's really janky, but it lets you fly around and look at stuff while the game's running. It's pretty cool.
You can also equip the sniper rifle, and in the frames where you're lying down, hotkey to a different weapon, and you get God mode.
Yep, it's awesome. The game is such a just a treasure trove of glitches.
It's definitely one of the games of all time.
So yeah, it seems like if I'm reading this correctly, and if there's no other innocent reason for it, which maybe there is, like, I don't know for sure, but it definitely seems to hint that MGS4, Peace Walker, and Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain are in the pipeline.
Which that seems like the most, like,
yeah,
that makes sense. Like, I don't see anything like, okay, why wouldn't they do? I mean, MGS4 is the big surprise there. I mean,
yeah.
And Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, I'm kind of like, whatever. I'll say I'm way less excited for that I mean, just for the fact that MGS4 is getting a re-release, like that's the one thing.
If it's the case, yeah.
That's what, yeah. If that's the case, and that's the one thing I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, but like Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain on PS5, I'm like.
So if you're reading like game news tomorrow or whatever, and you see like MGS4 Volume 2 leak or whatever bullshit, yeah, that's where it's coming from.
That'll be last week by the time they hear this, but yeah.
Yeah, so they'll take it as confirmation. I will say, as the guy who found it, don't take it as confirmation, but it is curious.
And it's good sleuthing, digging around, inspecting elements, and
Dude, they always do this. They always, every single time they have something like this. Every time.
As Billy Ray Cyrus says, much to think about.
Much to think about. I'm so fucking happy. I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
It's wild, man. Like, I don't know what to think of it all.
I think it's a good day for Metal Gear Solid fans, and even Metal Gear fans.
On PC, man. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm happy with this news. There's going to be people that want to kind of go through and go like, well, what didn't they include? But I'm just like, no. I think this is good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We got to celebrate the wins when we can. That's like the world is so fucking negative all the time. I get like a video game announcement. I'm like, hell yeah, that'll get me through another couple weeks. But then whenever it's like immediately shitting on that video game announcement, I'm like, oh, everybody sucks.
I am gobsmacked by Snake's Revenge.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am just after seeing that, man, like Volume 2, I think Ghost Babel is a possibility, like genuinely.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how fucking hilarious that like Snake's Revenge is Nitroid's hope spot of all things in the world? There's something beautiful about it. I don't know.
I just can't believe they're doing it. And it's so funny to me that like they didn't get added to, like, they were announced on a Nintendo Direct, but they're not a part of like the Switch expansion service or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That
yeah.
I never know what to call it.
Yeah.
But like I can just hear that conversation of like Nintendo going, well, we've got this platform where we can put those games in, and Konami's just like, no.
We'll be selling those. Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate the offer, but no, we'll be selling those Nintendo games. Yeah.
But we'll let you talk about it. Yeah.
The price that I saw recently was $60 for USD.
Fine. I don't care. Fine. They got me.
No, I'm saying like, I did see somewhere else it was 70, and I was kind of like, oh, why are they doing that? But that might have just been a different region or something. But I like $60 for all these games. Like, that's fine. Like, yeah, pre-order day one.
Do you think? Okay, so here's a thought. If I remember right, Snake's Revenge did not get a Famicom release. It was only released in the West.
Yeah,
right?
I said that earlier this episode, if you recall.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, well, here's the question.
Yeah.
Are they going to make a Japanese version?
I was thinking about that earlier because I just saw that NES and FC version, but that was just under the Metal Gear 1. That wasn't underneath because they were putting them underneath like each game that it was talking about, but they did not have the Snake's Revenge version. So yeah, I don't know. They're going to use Google Translate.
I got to go and like dig through the Japanese website for this because maybe there's more context there. Like depending on what they're saying there,
yeah,
like you can start to draw a picture of what they might be doing because there's so much mystery around this. Like I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, this is the second episode in a row that like we've gotten the news the day of that we were recording, so we haven't had too much time to like research and do our due diligence on everything. But
yeah, we haven't had as much time to like actually make episodes because we've been like prepping for MGS-Con and just dealing with life in general. And so hopefully once MGS-Con's over, we can get back to a normal schedule. Yeah. God, I can't believe how soon that is. I've got to finish my freaking panel stuff.
I got to work on my DJ set.
It's so funny. Not to spoil what my panel's about. It isn't really spoiling. It's just one part of it. But I was going to talk a little bit about preservation. And I mean, like this sort of took the wind out of that sail, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, preserving pretty good. I mean,
like it's on PC. I'm going to shut up now. Like, thank you.
And that's like it's a good feeling to have where like most people are taking this news positively, It's like that's just pretty much a refreshing thing for me to not hear.
Yeah, I was not expecting it at all.
I had people coming to me in private in DMs like, "Hey man, just listen to the latest episode. Just want to let you know that I agree with you too on these things, and I think everybody being really, it's just like, Dude, that's so sad that you think you have to come to me in DMs and like privately tell me these things. You can't just like express your opinion about Metal Gear publicly without having people dogpile on you about shit.
Have I soured the pot?
No, it's not you, man. It's like it's the feeling in the community. Like one person says one thing and everybody just fucking dogpiles, and it's like,
yeah,
that sucks.
Fingers is like working it to the bone, working on like making these episodes sound amazing. Meanwhile, on the show, we're all just fucking bullying him for his Metal Gear opinions. Like, oh, you think that, you fucking dumbass?
Yeah, I gotta like, re-listen to that shit.
Well, you gotta have so many wrong opinions, Fingers.
Yeah. What do you even like Metal Gear for, asshole? Yeah. No. It was like PTSD listening to the last episode. And so like I'm very familiar with the arguments from last episode, and it's but no, like it's all fine. I'm not been out of shape about them at all, but the whole like argument of, and I will say too, I think last episode we kept switching lanes between Remake and
it was unfocused. We were in shock, man.
We're breaking this down like a football game. This is wild.
No, I'm saying like I think
get a board and like draw a circle around the Discord messages.
We kind of fucked up last episode talking about between remakes and ports and like the collections of like porting them the same and stuff, and the conversation kind of blurred in between.
Nitroid is just playing a really tight game of ball today. I mean, he's got his preservation argument lined up. He's covering all sides. Days Ahead and Apache Smash are just out here giving great counterpoints and arguments. That's the kind of support you need.
Good hustle.
Four Fingers is getting nailed out there with the nostalgia formation.
The thing is, when we recorded that episode, probably like an hour or two after the news broke, and everything was crazy, and like Fingers, like you edit the way we sound afterwards, but like how it actually went down in that call was completely different. It sounds really professional on the recording, but we were all going wild and like talking over each other, and like it was crazy.
It was a passionate conversation. It was the freshness of it all, and we were all coming at it from different perspectives. Like you guys are talking to a guy that remixes and covers stuff and like changes stuff all day. Like that's what I do. I change things. So when you're like, well, we want it to be the original, I'm like, well.
Oh man. Not to change the subject, but that tweet with the MGS4, page code thing is just exploding.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Good job.
Thank you. Konami's never gonna let me in the building. Just ate Konami's lunch today. Oh my god.
I want to buy Konami lunch after today. I'll say that. I think this is a good move. Good on them for pulling this off. Like that's this is pretty impressive. So it's okay to shit on stuff when it's shitty. Like we can shit on that merch that came out.
The merch for Metal Gear is so cheap now. I'm sorry. Like
Fangamer's doing it a little bit better, but the Konami shop, it's like, what the fuck? Like I can join you guys in on the negativity on that, but
where's the Fat Man plushie?
Plushie.
What an opportunity! What an opportunity to sell that, huh?
We got hosed on the Fat Man plushie, and I'm never gonna be over it.
I just want to shout out Brandy for calling me Punished Fingers. That's fucking hilarious. That was me, dude. I literally had people coming to me like after they listened. They're like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I got your back on that point. Like I'm the same way, but I don't want to tweet that." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" That's what I'm saying. Like people are scared to put these opinions out.
Oh my god.
Because the Metal Gear community can be a bit
freaking crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just say my shit and whatever.
I saw a thread today that was on Reddit, and it was if we get MGSV in the next Master Collection, do you think it'll have Chapter 3?
Oh no!
Please shut up forever.
God.
Please.
Let's take one thing at a time, everybody. Come on now.
I will say there were some new, I guess they're calling them goods, products, whatever. There was some stuff I thought was interesting. They've got this company called, what is it called? Fanatic with 2 T's and a K.
Mm-hmm.
Is doing like metal pins of like the Foxhound logo, like the new one and the original one, which is pretty neat. So I might grab the Foxhound pin.
They've got a Foxhound hat coming out too from the Fangamer guys. That looked pretty good.
I guess they also saw the Etsy listing for the PAL cards, like the lenticular ones, because they've got a limited edition set of 3 PAL keys, and they're like aluminum or something. Let me pull up the listing here. Limited edition set of 3 key card keys, and it's got them, and I guess they are They just say metal. They don't say what kind of metal. And I guess they are limited worldwide to 5,000 with each box numbered, and they are $79. And pre-orders start now and will ship in October. And I know that sounds like an ad, but I am not being paid or given anything for free. So Konami, if you're listening, should be one of those. They're not listening to this.
October 24th, we got this Master Collection coming out on Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam.
Yeah.
No PS4.
Oh, okay. So it is weird that they're not doing PS4, but I get it. It also sounds like some things won't be included if you get the game standalone. So get the bundle, or you're not going to get all the stuff. And I can't remember what's not included. I still got to.
Which that's also a good option though, that they are listing them individually too. If you're just like, I just need 3 guys, like that's all I really want here. I don't want to buy all of this. That's cool that they're doing it that way. But yeah, definitely get the bundle if you want all the extra shit.
As long as I got a physical copy, which it does seem like they do, I'm good.
Yeah.
So
physical has been announced on like all except Steam, of course. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna hold out. Let's see if we get a collector's edition of this or something. That's.
I wonder. Did they do a collector's for the Cowabunga collection?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Came with a bunch of cool shit. Yeah.
Man, like that is such a gold standard for Konami when it comes to like any sort of re-release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After seeing everything they poured into that.
Yep.
That sort of attention to detail is such a high standard that given how big Metal Gear is, it's like you've got to at least match that, if not exceed it.
Yeah.
Or it's going to feel like a cop-out.
And then, like, God, here's another thing I saw today that I was like, would y'all shut the fuck up? Like, people talking about like, oh, the box art is really uninspired. It's like, hey guys, it's all 3 of the covers of the main 3 games, like, fit.
That is such a reach, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, it's 3 covers. And if you've ever used like an Instagram photo edit or anything, and like you're trying to fit 3 vertical things into a 16 by 9, like you're going to end up with some empty space. And what they ended up doing with that empty space was just like a gold to black gradient. It's like, cool, looks fine to me. But everybody's like, oh, I would have done so much better. Shut up!
Sure. Okay. I mean, I agree. I wish it was better. But at the same time, like, it's nothing new because
it's perfectly fine. Like, it's serviceable. Like,
have you seen the HD collection's normal case? It's literally that, but not gold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's fine. Like, what a nitpicky thing to focus on and get sour about. I mean,
I like the. Here's sort of something I've mentioned before, but like, I miss the prestige that Metal Gear carried.
Okay.
When Kojima was around, and that's very clearly gone now. It doesn't carry itself the same way. Like, it was very special. Like, everything was handled like it was some Criterion Collection event. And now it's just, hey, we're gonna throw shit on a T-shirt. Put the exclamation point on a beanie. Her. Like it's just really cheap now.
Oh, it just seems like the license is very cheap is the problem. The license seems to be cheap to acquire, and then all these shit companies go like, oh, what if we did this with it? And they're like, yeah, go for it, man. If we get 25%, we don't give a fuck. Like,
right. And before, everything was very carefully curated. Like, Kojima would
I agree with that. Yeah,
was very clearly like saying no to things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like, if you got the money, go for it.
Yeah.
So I guess we're just gonna have to live with that, which sucks, but
just don't buy the merch and let the sales be bad. Like,
yeah, I hope the right people get a chance to make some stuff for Metal Gear. I know of a couple things that I can't talk about, but there may be some higher quality stuff down the road. Nothing like huge, but nice.
Yeah.
I'll say that, and when it comes out, I'll talk about it. But I think if anybody is listening who has access to this sort of stuff and has better, let's say, artistic sensibilities, please step in and do something. I can't take another one of these. Like, I don't want another coffee mug where Psycho Manus is talking about pain and misery. Like, that's not how I want to start my morning, guys.
Yeah, no, that typography shit is the worst. Like the whose footprints are these, like, scattered around?
So
like, yeah, that's
dumb.
Bad. I get it. Yeah,
guys, who is designing this?
Yeah,
fire them. Oh, okay. So here's something I just learned about. Because Token Flip Guy in the chat here just shared it, but apparently they shared the I mean, we kind of alluded to this earlier, but they shared the digital, like the data size for each game. But that includes the console versions as well, and it looks like the Switch cart doesn't have anything on it. It's basically just a key for downloading it.
Could you fit all of that on a Switch cart?
Probably not. I don't know what the capacity of a Switch cart. Oh,
I'm reading it right here. They go from 1 to 32. Yeah, but they cheaped out and used an 8 gigabyte cart, which only left room for one of the games and none of the DLC.
Yes, so they could have. They just didn't. That sounds that tracks. Yeah. That's lame. That's really lame.
As long as you can install it to the Switch, though.
What's the point of having a physical card?
It's like it's like when they used to sell PC games
with the code, yeah.
And the PC games had like this not just had the code, but they just had a link to Steam.
Oh God, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, if it's giving you like permission to access it, then like whatever. I don't know.
No, because then you're tied to something. You know, your game doesn't have longevity, and if the server goes down, your cart's useless.
Okay, yeah,
you know?
I see the point. Yeah,
like that's what they did with I think Spyro, right, on PS4, the Spyro collection. Like only one of the games was on the disc, and the other two you had to download.
Oh yeah,
like screw that. Like stop shortchanging your customers. Like you're screwing them. Knock it off. Pay the extra $1.
For Switch to be able to do it, they would have either had to use a more expensive cart or included 2. Is that?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think there are any 2-cart games on the Switch.
That's what I'm trying to like. I'm like, well, what do they fucking do at this point? Do they bring out 2, or do they just use a bigger capacity cart, which could have its own problems? I don't know. There might be a reason they.
I guess it's just more expensive.
Yeah,
it's 32 gig. You know, it says here in this thread. I guess and independently verify any of the stuff that we're telling you here. But
yeah,
like the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection did the same thing. Only one of the games was on the cart because it was 16 gigs, and Ubisoft didn't spring for the 32 gig cart. Come on, Konami. Like really, you guys are bleeding money.
That's what you get for playing it on Switch.
Yeah, but like, oh God, it's so annoying.
That's like for anybody like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, as long as you can download it and have the files on your Switch at that point, like you can hard download, like to the Switch, that it's not like tied into a server. I don't know. Like on PS3, you could download like the install file and have that install file.
Yeah, I guess it's just like
I get it. Like you want to keep it all in the disc so that you wouldn't have to connect to the internet to have everything there because those servers or whatever will be gone one day. I get the concern.
It's just funny to me that companies are surprised when people pirate stuff when they do shit like this.
Yeah.
Like it's just you're screwing your customer who is paying for something that they're not getting. You know, I mean, I think this should be I'm sure it'll say on the box, like download required or some BS to cover their asses legally, but it's so scummy. Like, it makes me angry to the point, like,
That's only the case for Switch, right?
Yeah, it's just the Switch one, as far as I can tell. But, like, you've got all this goodwill for all of the good you're doing with this collection re-release, though I'm still curious how the actual ports are going to stack up. Like, we're not going to know until we try them and test them and see if they, are they going to fix glitches in the HD collection? Are they going to add more? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Some of the screenshots actually look like they're retaining some visual glitches, if those are screenshots from the ports. So we'll see. Or no, I think it was actually footage that might have done it. Like, you've got all this good faith, and then you're not going to put the whole game on man, come on.
I mean, especially if we're talking all the audio selections and stuff too, like that it's like the more and more you're going to put on these carts, like the less
I guess,
space it's
man,
going to be.
It's just, I just really hate that. Like,
yeah, I get it. It's like kind of an annoyance that has like become the norm now with game companies. They're just saying like, "Oh, download
you don't really
and you're buying a disc.
What you buy."
Sure.
Yeah. I hate that sense. Like maybe I'm just old fashioned, but I like to own the things I pay for. It's like Apple telling me I can't take apart my phone or take it to a repair guy to get it fixed and then locking it because I got a part from somewhere else.
Yeah. That's why I use Android.
Like it's that same thing. Like we actually own that thing you bought, not you.
Yeah.
You're just renting it long term. Like no, it's mine.
Well, that's at the end of the day, that's like all video games are pretty much under that legal terminology. Like we are licensing them out, that we don't own them or anything like that. It's like
yeah, screw that. If I ever release a game, I'm just going to open source the damn thing.
Yeah.
You reminded me of the Devolver Digital Direct where the girl made the game and she's like, I made that. And the CEO's like, okay, well, you don't own the property rights and you're going to have to still buy it. You do need to watch it, dude. It made me like feel bad for like a robot that I've owned for 3 minutes.
Their directs are so good. That company kills me.
Man, I wonder if they were joking at the who created it though. Like, was it in that enough time span that they could have crafted that joke around that?
Man,
I don't know, man.
that's so funny if that was the reason though. Have we missed anything? Is there anything else we want to touch on, or if we kind of hit it? We didn't really touch on Summer Game Fest. Spoiler, nothing there.
Shit was boring. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, real quick, we've been active now for 3 years, which is nuts.
I
Yeah.
know.
3 years of the Kojima Frequency, y'all. Thanks for listening, everybody that's tuned in over those past 3 years. That means the world to us that y'all tune in and listen to the show that us knuckleheads came together and put together.
We haven't annoyed you away yet.
You know, I get messages just randomly off people, and they'll be like, "Oh, I was listening to episode, whatever, and you said this, and I thought that was really cool." I fucking love that, man. Like that means
Yeah.
the
It's
world to
awesome,
me when
right?
people
Yeah.
do that.
So we started on June 1st, 3 years ago.
And people are going back and re-listening to episodes too, just to like go back and just to hear the conversation again. So like I don't know, this stuff always to me feels like it's like current, and like if you were to go back and listen to some of these, but I guess that's showing the show's got a little bit of timelessness to it, like it doesn't have to just be that week's thing that we were talking about. We're talking about subjects here that can kind of be timeless. And
I really want to go back and collect like memorable clips or conversations that we've had, like funny bits, like just moments that we want to capture and save, like short ones.
Yeah.
And put together like a reel of that, or just start posting little clips here and there.
I want to go back and find the bit where we had like the most despair towards like how things were going compared to like now.
Now look at us.
Who would have thought, huh?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Look at us.
Oh man.
Yeah, there was definitely some things that happened over the past couple of weeks that we didn't get to touch on, but we'll probably circle back around next time. We're gonna supposed to have a special guest on next episode, but we'll see if they turn up.
At the very least, MGS Con is coming up, and our panel will be broadcast to anybody who's got the virtual pass.
Yeah, the Colonel tier passes will all have access to all the virtual stuff, and then
we'll put that online afterwards.
Yeah, that'll be archived and probably uploaded later on.
So you won't miss it. Yeah, that'll be a funny one to release as audio.
Yeah.
I'm not sure even if that'll work.
Yeah, I'm so excited for MGS Con that like by the time we record our next episode, I might have even bought a plane ticket.
Yeah. I might have my DJ set done by then too. I don't know.
I might have my panel written.
We got a lot of work to do, everybody. We got a lot of Metal Gear news to talk about in the meantime. All right. 3 years. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate y'all.
Thanks for listening.
If you see me at MGS Con, buy me a beer. It's expensive in LA.
You don't have to buy me a beer, but it like Apache said, it's always nice to get those little comments and jokes from people.
If I haven't annoyed you away yet, that's impressive.
And if you have Metal Gear opinions that you'd like to keep private, my DMs are always open.
And if you'd like them to be aired out in public, my DMs are open.
If y'all want to get a ratio, then just, tag Nitrate in the tweet.
There you go.
Yeah, message me anytime. I have no self-control. I will reply. I'll talk to you for hours.
Just wait until Apache puts out a bait post and reply to it. He's probably asleep, but he'll get back to you in about 10 hours, and, it'll be fine. So we're all here if y'all want to reach out, but, Otherwise, leave us alone. All right, thanks for listening, everybody.